So I want to introduce myself. My name is Amy Malone, and I want to thank these beautiful women who have graced me with their presence. You are all amazing, and I could not go after what I feel God has put in my heart if I did not have people like you who were willing to really step out with me on my journey. I've seen you ladies each go through your own um, journeys and growth, and I'm so proud of you. And I handpicked you because I feel that God has truly blessed you, and you have something to share. So I want to introduce myself to those who don't know me. I am the owner of Girl in Charge Public Relations, and I am the creator of Exhale, a safe space for girl talk. And I birthed this space. It's been in my heart for a year now, a little over a year, to have a space where women could come and really celebrate each other, help each other to push out things that are within them, and they're hesitant about bringing forth, and just don't know how to get started, and maybe just need a positive word like, girl, you can do it, don't let anybody stop you. That's what I wanted, and that's what you guys have all helped me to provide to the new group here. So I really do appreciate you coming on and being a part of this. I want to first introduce, or have you introduce yourselves, but I want to introduce my wonderful panelists. First, Tosca Metlock Lee. Tosca is a marketing strategist. She specializes in cause marketing, and she is the owner of the Mirrored Group. Tosca, I've known you for many, many, many years, and I have seen you even when you didn't realize you were birthing something special and fantastic, just kind of go for things without fear. And I've always admired that about you. And I'm very proud to call you a friend, a mentor, and a peer of mine. Lizzie Morris. Lizzie is the co-founder of Bearded Eagle, a consulting firm in Dallas, a brilliant woman. She is a certified Scrum trainer. She was the first African-American woman to be certified in the world. And from what I know, probably still the only one. She is a life coach and a career strategist and a career coach. So I'm very thankful for you, Lizzie. Gloria Worthing Reynolds, I met you this year, have not had the pleasure of spending as much time with you as I hope I will in the future. But from what I have learned of you in a very short time, you are a wonderful woman, a brilliant woman, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life. She is the founder of the Worthing Foundation, a mentor to at-risk youth, young women in the Dallas area, and she's just an incredible woman. So thank you, Gloria. And then there is Deborah Mars. She is the queen today. As you can see, she has the crown on and she wears it well. Deborah is the creator of Gift by Design, and she is the author of Death of a Fairy Tale, and it is a powerful, powerful book that we are going to talk about and a little into the discussion. But ladies, I just want to say thank you. And Tosca, I want to start with you. I'd like you to just say a little bit about yourself and tell us, just tell us about your wonderful self.
Well, Amy, thanks for having me, and I'll send you a check later for that amazing introduction.
That's what I do.
Listen, and I'm looking at that plaque behind you.
Yes.
That is that platinum record
Yes.
from a project that Amy and I both worked on, and that we birthed, and that she was alongside our team at Flow Records with Juanita Bynum, and just provided amazing publicist work. I mean, we were front cover on the Essence magazine. I mean, we walked in a space, and Amy created spaces for us that we would not have had that platinum record had it not been for her amazing publicist skills. So kudos to you for the work that you've done for many, many, many years. and for creating this platform for just a safe space to have girlfriend talk.
Yes.
And I know that there are spaces out there and people are doing various things and connecting people together. But just if you're out there and you're listening, I just want you to go grab you a your glass of wine or tea, because Lizzie really likes tea. Get you a cup of tea or something like that. I mean, grab you something so that you can kick back and chat with us. So I'm glad to be on. And as Amy said, I'm the owner of the Myriad Group. It's a boutique marketing communications agency, and I do specialize in cause marketing because I just believe that that's what God called me to do. Before I had my own company, I was in the public relations communications office for the Dallas Independent School District, and I serviced about 40 schools there, and just service is my passion. I
Yes.
want to give and give and give and give. And I used to think, because I was so connected with churches and groups and organizations, I was like, if I was a Hill and Knowlton public relations firm, or if I was one of the major, major uh, PWI, PR, marketing agencies, what I would want to do is provide that level of service to faith organizations and entities that were about uplifting people. And
Yes.
so I started my agency, and my agency was birthed around creating partnerships with our interfaith communities, with major corporations that were looking to connect their brands with causes. And
Yes.
so I birthed a cause marketing agency. And so it's been God has just did it. God has done it.
He's
And
used you.
I just can't
You
tell
allowed
you. Yeah, I just can't tell you. I can't tell you the blueprint because God did it. So
it.
I'm glad to be on, and I hope that that this afternoon, this evening, would be an inspiration to those who are watching. Call a friend, get a friend right now. You guys are not connected with, share this screen, share this live, and let your friends know that it's kickback and chat time
Yeah.
with the ladies at Excel.
Real talk. We're doing real talk, and hopefully, we will inspire some ladies to really go after what it is they want. Um, Now, I want Lizzie Morris. Let's talk to you. Introduce, say a little about yourself, please.
I was just thinking, like, I need to share. I was just trying to pull you up on the phone and get it all shared. I'm Lizzie Morris, and I'm very, 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 very honored to be on this platform with these illustrious women here. Amy came into my life through Tosca, and both of them have been just a fabulous example to me of Black women in business with integrity. Note what I said. Black women in business with integrity. There's a difference. There can be a lot of Black folks in business and have no integrity, and there's a very big difference. And that, for me, is what stood out about them, and why we're still connected and we will stay connected, is for that integrity part. And I've been challenged in owning a business in the corporate space, because that's where I am. I'm B2B, big corporate space. And you always are challenged on that integrity piece,
Yes.
because there is a persona that you're supposed to have when you deal with the level that I deal with, that I've never taken on. So as a result, it's interesting. I have hit many struggles in my industry with folks who, because I am soft-spoken and just very kind of, calm, and some people can mistake me for being, airheaded. I'm not. So don't make that mistake. I just don't necessarily come off with the most aggressive or hard persona. And as a result, I'm always challenged with people trying to take advantage of that, and especially women, funny enough, right? So I've hit a lot of spaces where there hasn't been sisterhood or upholding. There's been a secondary agenda. And so it's nice for me to have a space now. We're here with Amy on this Exhale, and other things she's helped me to do, to bring women together in the form of sisterhood, right? So there's kind of this connotation, isn't there, that as women, we're sisters because we're of the same race. But that's not actually sisterhood. Sisterhood has no race to it. It just has the common sense that we were all born females with an agenda that was placed on us. But now let's empower each other to keep moving. And I
Yes.
believe we all come together, that every woman is like a body of water. When you merge together, we become this ocean. So my big purpose in existence is that I believe my stage that I have through the corporate and through coaching is when I encounter women is to help them understand who they are without competing, but collaborating.
Yes.
So that's kind of my thing when it comes to this whole woman space.
I love that. Thank you, Lizzie. I appreciate you for being here, and I love the fact that you are coming from the corporate space. As if I know, most of the women on this panel are, but you live in that space right now, and I'm grateful to that. Gloria, I'd love for you to say something about yourself and the Worthing Foundation, please. Gloria.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, sweetie. We can't hear you.
Mute. Yes, thank you, Amy, so much for the opportunity. This is one of the things that we're having to adjust is what's going on in our homes. So my husband's out cutting the grass and it's dark, so I hit the mic. But anyway, I'm so excited to be here with the ladies. This sisterhood is amazing. I love to call them my sister friends. And we're just really here to chat this evening and just share some of the things that we're doing and who we are. A little bit more about who I am. I am all about education, giving back to young people. I have spent many years in corporate. I've spent, I won't give my age, but it's a little over 25 plus. In terms of just really working in corporate and learning a lot, learning how to break those glass ceilings, learning how to really integrate my skills with what I can do to help those that might not be as fortunate.
Right.
So when I had the opportunity to be a part of Worthing Foundation, which is my family business, and in that nonprofit sector, we go out and it's important for us to give back. We have a lot of HBCU graduates in our family. So knowing that I am a big advocate of HBCU schools, it's important for our students to know that not only are HBCUs a wonderful opportunity, but the education is amazing. So giving back through DISD, I am the vendor for girls mentoring. So I work with high school girls several times a week and just helping them to be empowered, self-love, self-care, to understand attitude is everything. And I'll talk a little bit more about that shortly, but it is very important that we work with our young ladies and to have this group of just magnificent ladies on this line, as well as those that are on Facebook Live, to have that challenge that I give to you, mentor a girl, mentor a young lady. It's the object where we have the feelings and the belief. And also I heard integrity. It is, I've always say, if you don't like young people, don't work with them. So it is within my core, within my heart, that I work with girls weekly and daily. We find an opportunity where we can bridge the gap. There's a big gap there between our education, schools, and what young people are actually receiving to go on to the next level. So I'm a part of that gap builder, that bridge builder for young girls and in high school and college. And I really work hard to make sure that they are prepared in various ways. So we have programs, and we'll talk more about that. But most of all, right now, I'm just here to be excited to chat about, if someone wants to start a nonprofit, or if someone is interested in doing, having a business, know that you can do it and you can be successful. So that's a little bit about me.
And we need you. That we need people like you that are talking to our young women, because for me, I have a passion for women, and I want our young women of color to understand that there is nothing that they can't do. They are some of the smartest people in the world. We are some of the most educated people in the world, and we need people to show that. So
Yes.
and to work with them and to nurture them so that they can be the best that they, that they have to give. I know that. We all know that. We know that there are some women out there that are going to do some extraordinary things, and they need help. And we need people, such as the women on this panel and women that are watching, to give and to help those young ladies, and to guide them. So thank you, Gloria, for what you do. Now, Deborah Mars, I want you to tell us something about you, about your business, and just what God has put on your heart. And I'm just so grateful for you sharing on my platform what He's given you.
Really happy to be here, Amy. Thank you. You're amazing. And I just have to tell you all how important it is to connect the dots. And I want to give a shout out to my little sis. Think she might be my cousin, Tosca Medlock, who really is the connector with all five of us.
Mm-hmm.
Tosca, I met when she was like 19, 18 years old, when she was in college. And I was at Frito-Lay, and she was an intern for one of my suppliers, not to date or age myself. And now here we are, sister friends. She's a woman that not only is of the highest integrity, I would trust her with my social security number, my check, a blank check, my American Express Platinum. Let me say it again. My American Express Platinum that is now on freeze because of Corona. And my girl, Gloria Reynolds, who used to be a church member of mine. She's a sorority sister. We've worked together, and it goes on and on. And of course, I got the opportunity to work on a project for Lizzie behind the scenes because of Tosca. So it's really, really amazing. And I hope we'll talk about dot connecting. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my past experience, but what I'm excited to tell you about is where I'm going. I think sometimes we really get hung up in the past. And as I sit here, going now into my 10th year and my 10th week of quarantine. I was quarantined the first 2 weeks before the country shut down, and then the country caught up with me. So I'm in week 10, and we'll talk about that in a second. It gives you a chance to think. And what I did is I did like a lot of purge, and I did all the accolades on the wall and how I used to fly into corporate jet and all that stuff. That doesn't mean jack. It's just a connector to where I'm going. And so I would just tell you, for a baseline, I started off in brand management. I worked for General Mills, Coca-Cola, then Frito-Lay, and I was the first Black female marketing executive at Frito. I don't say that braggadociously. It just means that I had to kick down a few walls and go through some things.
You should brag. It's worthy of brag.
It's not brag. It's not brag.
No, it's worthy of it though.
But you know what? When I started my career, I can remember you come in back then as a class, and this is important to know. So we came in as a class, and on the first day, this white boy said to me, who was from Harvard B School, I'd gone to Wisconsin. He said to me, "Give me a cup of coffee." Well, I'm not going to say on Facebook Live what I said to him, but he assumed I was his secretary.
Oh,
Wasn't. So those are some of the things that I've had to go through in terms of building the career. I can tell you, when I was at Frito, the very best corporate job that I ever had was running supplier diversity for Frito-Lay. And I was responsible for making a lot of millionaires and for coaching a lot of people into being meaningful suppliers, not people that, and no disrespect, nothing wrong with sweeping the floors and scrubbing toilets and catering, but we brought people to the table that were doing packaging deals with us, ad agencies, and on and on and on. So I got to tell you that last corporate gig is getting me back to my basis, my core, in terms of being able to pour into other people. After I left Frito, I started a promotion agency. It's going on 32 years. I know I'm old.
Congratulations to you.
And we've had the opportunity to work with clients like the NFL, the Super Bowl, BET, HBO, Ford Motor, JCPenney's, Toyota. Major shout out to Toyota. Y'all don't know how many times you have kept things rolling for me. And I've been blessed. But here's where I want to go, and then I'm going to shut up, is that we have to be so careful of allowing other people to define us.
Yes.
We get caught up in our own hype. And even when COVID hit, people said to me, girl, you need to be selling some, you've been doing this for 30 years. You need to be making some face masks, and you need to be doing I survived COVID t-shirts. And we have to be so careful, because I've been praying to God, be careful what you put in the atmosphere, because it'll come out to you. Because in my spirit, I know that I'm bigger than that, and not bigger beyond selling stuff. But I've just felt like I've been on this hustle for so long. I went through a very hard divorce, and it just seemed like this hustle intensified. Child, that divorce was nothing compared to COVID, okay? And for real. And
Wow.
so the point is, no, COVID has been a time for me to stop and pause and exhale, Amy, and embrace who I was really meant to be. And we'll talk about that later. But this has been it's been, like they say, the worst of times and the best of times. And yeah, so that's who I am. I've branded a lot of people. I'm grateful for being able to help people make their dreams come true. But I look forward to our conversation, and I'll tell you more later.
Well, one thing you said, and then I'm going to just hop into our questions. But one thing you said that really touched me is allowing people to define who you are and what you're supposed to do. Because people will come along and assume they know what you should do. And, and I don't want anybody to tell me what I should do. I have to sit back, be quiet, and allow God to put into me what it is he has for me to do. And that took a minute. It took the quiet of quarantine to understand that, yes, what you're doing, do that. But that's not it. I have more for you. Stop limiting what I have for you to do, and don't allow the next person to define it, especially somebody who's not doing anything.
Right.
Or has an angle, or has a ulterior motive for telling me what they want me to do, which usually has something to do with them, and helping them. So, I'm thankful that you said that. But I want to ask you ladies a question, and we're going to jump right in. What is your new normal? Because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about creating the new normal. So how has the quarantine and COVID-19, everything that's going on in the world, how has that changed you and who you are, and what defines that normal for you? I'd like to start with you, Tosca. How is this new normal? What is your new normal? Tosca, are you on mute?
You're on mute.
One of the things that we have to know is this new normal that we continue to talk about. I had the pleasure, and you worked on this project with me last July. Maybe it was June, but you remember we began a promotional tour, and we were working on this project called Reset. And the Reset was this book for the client that we began to work through. And ironically, we started work on this project this month. It was May of 2019. And we were in the thick of the project because it was called Reset, Breakdown, Breakthrough, and the Journey to Wholeness. And it's a book called Soul Reset. And this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, okay? And that was not happenstance in terms of how we started this project. So when we begin to talk about this whole new normal, this new normal for me is a reset. Now that word has been floating around in our culture. You reset your computer, you can reset our attitudes, you can reset a relationship, you can reset your clock, you could reset. But this new normal has a deeper meaning for us in a reset. And it means that not we, but God has rearranged our priorities.
Absolutely.
He's rearranged our priorities. He is reshaping purpose and pursuit.
Mhm.
The things that you were pursuing in January, you're not pursuing in May.
Oh, it's changed.
So true.
It is completely changed. The things that you were, what you thought was your purpose, it
Mhm.
may not be your purpose.
Mhm.
This has been an orchestrated reset
Yes.
by my God. And so abnormal for me means reset.
Yes. Well, that's a good one. To the word reset. Wow.
So here's the deal. The factory reset is to, and Lizzie can go into this. I know she can. She could probably tear it up. But the factory reset erases everything
Hmm.
that was on your
Woo!
Come
device.
on now,
It
come on,
erases
Tasha.
everything
Hmm.
in order for you to start anew. So I want the people who are watching us to know that it's okay that we're in a pandemic, because guess what? There's peace in the pandemic if you understand the principle of a
Mm.
reset.
Yes. Yes. Well, see, Tosca, I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Lizzie because that's a perfect segue. Lizzie, how is this what is your new normal? How is it affecting you? What do you look at?
To be honest, I can't at this point say yet I have the new normal, because it just seems like there's just so much constantly changing,
Hmm.
right? And I'm having to like make constant decisions right now. Do I go forward? Do I go left? But when you said the reset and the default, last night I edited a podcast, which I haven't put out yet, and it's called Reset. And I've literally redone the image for the podcast and said, okay, it's a reset now. And I was talking all about resets, right? So that's just really, really freaky. So that's like a sign to the podcast out. So I'm going to do that. But it's like when you said it's a default, because that's what I thought about. When you reset something, you set it back to the default.
Yes.
And I thought about what I think is it Gloria?
Gloria?
Yes, Gloria, you're in the purple. No, Gloria, you're in the
Oh,
pink.
Deb.
Deb, you're in the purple.
Yes.
You said something. You talked about not letting anybody define you. Well, if you take something back to its reset, it was as the maker defined it.
Mm.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's just blowing my mind.
Come on now.
Because when we talk about, because we're having almost like a faith conversation here. So
Yeah.
when we talk about the idea of being reset back to the default, it's not what anybody defined. So we are having an opportunity for the maker to talk to the creation
Yeah.
and say, hey, this was actually your default setting. Do you want to check it out? I know everybody else reprogrammed you this way, but
Yes.
this stuff here, like this is really you. You notice it's easy. Notice it feels peaceful. Notice there's no stress with this. Notice it's just flowing. And so I am finding my flow. And every day I am finding what is my flow. Because right now I'm finding what is my career flow that I can say I can stay passionate with till the day I die. Right? And what is that thing that just flows from me? So every day I'm discovering my new flow. So there's little things that come with it. So there's like, I've gone back to in the morning before I get out of bed, like literally taking a pause and saying affirmations to start my day. I've gone back to doing that now, but that's something I always used to do. And then it kind of just went away. Right. And so I've gone back to doing that, and, like making exercise part of my day. And I noticed the difference in when I actually exercise in the morning versus coming straight into the office and sitting down on the machine. And I take time to actually have lunch now. I didn't used to do lunch or necessarily dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So it is definitely a flow for me that is coming out of the reset. I am finding what is my new flow, and every day it's shifting and changing, but the road that lets me know I'm on the right thing is the peace.
Yes.
And that's how the balance comes for me, is
Yes.
where's the peace at? When I feel
Yes.
the peace, I know I'm in the flow. When I don't feel the peace, I gotta pause.
And that's the good thing. See, you've just said basically what exhale is all about. It's about pause. It's pause, exhale. Just all that stuff you've sucked in, and you're mad and you're stressed. You need a moment to just exhale and breathe, and then move on to the next thing. And this has given us all a moment to breathe, you know, and as women, that's taken away from us so much. We don't allow ourselves to breathe, and others don't allow us to breathe. They just keep piling things on us. And it's in our mind. We've already been pre-programmed to just say, yep, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. So
Right.
and I want women to understand that, like, just breathe. If you have to tell somebody no for a moment, tell them no. Wait a minute. I've got to breathe.
There was an article today on LinkedIn written by the girl from Huffington Post and Sandra, what's her last name? President Yahoo. In a compilation with the lady who drives Facebook. And they were talking, it was so interesting, that the people who were being most hit by COVID was Black women and single mothers.
Oh, yes.
And women.
Yes.
But they put them in that category. And they said women, Black women, and then single mothers. Because they said women were already doing 2-3 jobs just naturally. Their career, parenting, taking care of the home. Now they're having to do all of it at the same time. And they're on burnout. And they're saying even those who have husbands and partners, men used to do maybe 10, 20%, and maybe they're taking on another 10% and thinking, oh my God, it's so much, right? But it's still not enough they're taking on to prevent women from hitting burnout. So they are literally so concerned about the mental stability of women right now because of all the pressure that COVID is put on, and saying that employers have to take this into consideration, because if not, they're not going to have women that are really good to do anything.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Burn all the way out. And I thought it was so interesting.
That's
they
so on
brought
point.
that to our attention.
That's so on point. That article is, and I want to read that. Please send that to me and share. Gloria, how is it? What is your new normal? Because I know you've been adjusting to a lot, and in this environment, what is it? How does it look for you?
You know, I really don't even like the word so much new normal. I really am. I'm at a point in my life, or during this coronavirus, this shelter in place, this is really a time that I have used it to be very selfish, selfish to find peace, to be selfish to find some healing opportunity, family. You know, I think there's a blessing in this. Now, yes, there have been many lives that have been sick. There have been way too many lives that have been lost. But I am so grateful and thankful for the opportunity that I have, I get to find some peace. I get to find some healing opportunity. But I would like to just kind of begin with the end in mind. And that end really for me is attitude. So attitude really is everything. What have we learned about all this coronavirus? We know that people mixing together spreads infections. It happens in the workplace. It happens in our households. It happens on our journeys now. So all of that is going to be looking so differently, right? Are we going to have to reduce mixing this person-to-person contact now? Perhaps, I would think so. This whole pandemic has really opened my eyes to how do I now sit down again with family and have a meal? When people are losing their jobs, schools and churches are closing. How do I take a walk and find peace when dangerous things are happening on the streets to our young men and young women? They're physically getting hurt. There's a new move that has to happen for us. And I think that's going to be that's going to continue to be my focus. Every day my feet hit the floor, I say, thank God for the journey. And I know that I am blessed, but there are so many ways that I can connect, and give back to others for the blessing that I have. So many of us now, we're wondering, what is it going to look like when we come out on the other side of all this? How's the world going to look? You know, what it's going to look like in 6 months, a year, 10 years? We don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is that we can encourage each other to rebuild and produce something better. Because if we don't do something better, it's gonna come out even worse. Because what we all are seeing, that this happened. It's like before, you thought, everybody said, well, I've never seen nothing like this before. Well, of course not. Of course we haven't seen anything like this before. But we are being prepared now that the next time something happens, how do we adjust to that? And I believe that it starts with the attitude, being positive, having the ability to come out and do something different, to build, if you want to build that business, you know, you've been laid off, perhaps you have another job. I mean, who would have thought a year ago, if we just had a few masks in our homes or on the machine that we could build? What happened to that sewing machine I got rid of 6 months ago? How do I motivate myself and others to do something good? You know, how do the optimism that we have now, we just get to really think big now. Attitude is going to determine how well we do. You know, because right now everybody's kind of down in the dumps and, oh, how am I going to get a job? You know, I've had so many jobs, you don't even have fingers and toes to count the number of jobs I've had. But what I do know, that when you have passion, that's not a job. That is your calling. So my calling is all involved in my attitude. When I work with young ladies and I go out and I talk to them, talking to them about attitudes, it's not about the attitude that you think about whether you're hating on somebody or doing something negative. It's about, what are you thinking about doing? Who do you want to be? How can I help you? And I got to give a shout out to my girl, Deborah, you know, as we give shout outs. This reminds me, Deb Morris, of the days of Mars Promotional Service. We were on the planet. We were on the planet, y'all, years ago. First of all, shout out to her, because she's employed more Black women, educated Black women, than I think whatever group has. But anyway, we had an opportunity to be on I had an opportunity to be on the planet. I can't even tell you how many people in my family worked on the planet Mars with Deborah. But it took a foundation of passion to say, hey, these are the people that I'm going to employ. They're going to, not only am I going to give and pour into them, but I want them to give and pour into others. So we could not have done that without the right attitude, and we brought experience. Deborah Mars provided the environment for us, and it just all worked together. So I just have been real selfish with this time, selfish to heal, selfish to give, and in places where I know that there is a need. So I'm very excited to be a part of this movement that I think we're going to come out okay on the other side. You know, we're going to be okay. Yes.
I know we are. And I like I like that word, selfish, because as Black women, we do not take enough time for ourselves. I don't care what anybody says. We are always taking care of somebody. And if we don't take the time to take care of ourselves, we're not going to be any good for anyone else. And there's so much in us. There's so much greatness in us. I hate when I look and I feel like it has been smothered by stuff that everybody else wants, that's not allowing what really needs to come out of us to really be birthed. So yes, it's okay to be selfish, and it's not a bad thing. It's what's needed, you know, in order for us to help the next person. So Deb, you know, how has this new normal affected you? What is your new normal?
So in the beginning of the year, it was almost forbearing. I said to myself, this is going to be the year of Debbie. And I started coming off some boards and doing things because I knew that I was just giving, giving, giving. So at my heart, I'm a storyteller. So I first want to show you all this. You can see it. Can you see it okay?
Mhm.
Don't just be kind to others, be kind to yourself. Now, if you can't deal with truth, this would be a time to drop from this call because I'm going to share something very personal with you all. So on May the 1st, the irony of it is, because I'm a gifter, that's just who I am. It's not because I have a gift company, but it's at my core, I got it from my mother. So I had spent the week sending all these surprise care packages to people. And on May 1st, which was last Friday, I started getting all these texts from people saying, oh my God, I got the gift. This is so amazing. They were sending me pictures, whatever. Just doing what I do. And so I got on the phone. Let me just cut to the chase. I had a total meltdown. Right after I got the last text of people telling me how wonderful I was and they're so appreciative for the gifts. What basically happened is I called my medical insurance carrier. I haven't been feeling sick, but I've been feeling really all over the place because during COVID, I've been living alone. So I can't even tell you, for someone who is a people person, to be by yourself, to eat every meal by yourself, it was pretty bad. And on top of, and I'm going to answer your question, and on top of just one after the other, every single client saying, cancel, cancel, cancel. I had 3 months book of business that was going to give me enough time to finish writing this new book I'm working on. And literally overnight, within 5 days, all my business went away.
Yes.
So you're talking about chaos and new normal. And the tendency is to go back to what you know and to scramble. And I start off early saying, people said, hey, sell some masks, sell some caps. That was not in my spirit to do that, right? So to fast forward, I get on the phone and I call Kaiser and I said, hey, I heard that you're giving like scholarships for insurance for a few months, because I'm thinking, I don't have any income right now. So when the woman said, no, ma'am, that's not correct, I just I lost it. When I tell you I lost it, I started screaming on the phone. I wasn't screaming at her. I thought I was losing my mind. At that point, all this stuff that had been building up in me ever since January, it just came out. And even Tosca did. I tell Tosca everything. Tosca didn't know that because she probably tried to get on a plane. So, y'all, I cried for so long, like for 3 hours. I ended up in a ball and I almost called emergency. I didn't feel suicidal, but I just felt this. Can you see this?
What feels like the end is often the beginning.
Come on now. You know what happened? They talk about the potter breaking the clay and rebuilding you. Cry me a river or whatever it was. I mean, it was so bad because it came on so suddenly. There was no warning. I mean, by the time I get off the phone, I can laugh about it now. I was not laughing then because the woman could even understand what I was saying because I was screaming and I was crying so much. So where am I going with this? My new normal? Self-care, 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 self-care. Debbie number 1. I had spent all that time methodically, not because I was bored, but it's just in me to pour into people. But it was like, who was pouring into me?
That's right.
And so my new normal, no disrespect, is Debbie first. And
That's
my
right.
new normal is to pay myself first. And the way I pay myself first, number 1, is to do the things that I love doing. So what I do first is when I get up in the morning after meditating all the stuff, I work on my passion projects first.
Yes.
I work on my book. I work on those things that pour into me, that tap into my true gifts. That's my new normal. My new normal is I don't take phone calls from clients Fridays after 5, if I had clients right now. But when it happens, Friday after 5, Saturday, Sunday. I just don't do that anymore. And I think, Amy, you talked about boundaries earlier. You have to have boundaries, because if not, you cannot function. So I'm saying to you all, I may or may not have answered the question.
No, you're doing well.
The new normal is self-care. And we assume because we're strong Black women, we got that S on here, we went through divorce, we survived bankruptcy, we did all this stuff, we can handle it. You don't know when something is going to creep up on you and you just lose it. So the new normal is we all need to be cognizant first of our mental health, because anybody can lose it at any moment.
Yes.
So that's my new normal self-care.
I love it. I love
And I just
that.
want to say this, Amy, because I'm watching your feed, your live feed, and it's an interesting thing. And Deb, one of what you just said is what is ringing true on this feed, that Black women care for the world.
Yeah.
We're nannies, we're elder care, we are mamas, we're daddies, we PTA moms, we soccer moms, we, you know, we're the mentors, Gloria. We, you know, we in the church, we're caring for the world.
We care
And
for everybody.
so,
Yeah.
so
that's
the
right.
reset is, you know, that is to have self-care.
And you, Amy, I'm going to say this and shut up. You see this crown, y'all see it's on straight. I'm not being gimmicky. Last Friday on the first, it was kind of got cocked off and then it just fell off. I totally forgotten who I was and whose I was. And First 2:9 tells us that we're born of royalty, and the devil will play tricks with your mind and have you all twisted up and crazy. But when I'm telling you, I almost had to call 911 because I couldn't stop crying. That's scary, because y'all know I'm the Energizer Bunny, ain't I? Boom.
Well, I like what Lizzie said. I mean, God is so good. I mean, what Lizzie said in terms of, you know, how the reset is getting us back, the default is getting us back to, you know, our creator. You know, he made us. The Lord made us in his image, and he cared for us so that we can care for ourselves.
Right. And sometimes fear, Tosca, even that becomes a factor. Fear sometimes makes us make decisions without stopping for a moment and really thinking about where are we supposed to be? What are we supposed to be doing? What has God, you know, predestined us for do? What to do? And what is our passion? What is our gift? You know, we sometimes miss it because we're doing the things that we can do well rather than going after the things we can do great.
Right.
So I want greatness for everyone, every Black woman I meet. And excuse me for saying Black women, but right now, that's who I'm concentrating on, because we need to concentrate on us, and I want greatness. And so, yeah, we can do a lot of things really well, but we got to start going after what we do, what we're great at, you know, what we're passionate about. So that leads me into this question. What is your survival tool? Now that you are here, now that you have realized I'm here, this is what our circumstances are, I need to survive, and not only survive, but thrive. What is that going to look like for you? How are you going to thrive? Lizzie, let me throw that one to you. How are you going to thrive?
Throw me the hardest one, but go on. While you were saying that, I thought the first thing with everything that we're saying is the only thing that you will always have is you. So if we go back to that story when the prophet said to the woman, "What do you have in your house?" Right? And she's like, I ain't got anything. Right? And go, no, you got something. What is it? And I think that is the question that everybody has to ask themselves now, because you see, a lot of times when you meet somebody, we go, well, what do you do for a living? You never ask anybody, who are you? Nobody asks anybody that question. So tell me, who are you and what are your passions? It's not it's not the introduction, it's not the tradition, right? Well, the only thing I'll always have is me. The only thing you'll always have is you. That's the only sure thing, you and God, that's it. There's not a surety you'll have children. There's not a surety you'll have a job. There's not a surety there'll be a market for you. There's not a surety you'll have your house. But if you have you always have enough,
Mhm.
That's right.
And that enough can become your new thrive.
Yes.
Because even if you look at the way, it's almost like, in a way, the world's been setting up for this. If you look, what is it that people, in essence, are buying into or have been buying into? Look at all the social media platforms that now exist. They didn't exist before, right? This wasn't a thing that even existed before, but it does exist now. And that's got to ask you a question. Why does that now exist? Like, there must be a reason why that was set in place. So now everybody has a platform and it's free.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about this because I'm not good on being necessarily on platforms by myself. I've got inferiority issues that I'm working on. But it's there. So whatever message is on the inside of me, whatever message is on the inside of you, whatever talent that is uniquely yours. See, because even if somebody else is a great orator, they'll never orate the way I will with my view on it.
Mhm.
Nobody will ever package a gift the way you'll package it, Deb, because you'll package it with your flair. Nobody else will ever brand a person the way that, you know, Tosca will brand somebody with a cause. They won't see it with her eye. And nobody's going to mentor a young woman who everybody said you should throw away the way you would, Gloria, because you're going to see something different.
That's
so
right.
When you come back to the...
Okay, you forgot me. You pointed out everybody else. I'm a little...
Right. Amy,
I'm a
we're all here
little...
because of you.
Love you, Amy.
Okay.
I'm just joking.
Wouldn't be here if it weren't you.
Right,
But you all see
I'm joking.
each
Go ahead.
one of us carry a thing. And I think it's going to be this time where you've got to figure out, what do you have in your house? And the house is you.
Yes.
I like that. Love that.
Yes,
Right?
I
What do
love
you have?
that.
Because that's the one thing that you can thrive with. Because
Yes.
nobody can take it away. It's not under anybody else's control.
I love it. I love that.
I
I
think
do.
that's what it always will come back to. I say to people when they go for job interviews, you've got the same qualifications as other people. What makes you stand out in an interview? Why do I want to hire you instead of
what is your
somebody
it?
else?
Yeah, what is your it? What do you do? I love that.
Right?
I love it.
I
Tosca.
think that's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So your survival kit to you is you. Understanding that you
And
are
we take, we take work.
Yeah.
We take a lot of upkeep. When we look at the scripture that talks about maintaining the temple, right? We are so good at maintaining the outside, but we never look on the inside.
I love that.
Inside is where the mental comes into place. It's where your self-confidence, your pains, your healing, all that happens on the inside of the temple.
I'm gonna do a hashtag. The house is you. Hashtag.
Right. So we have got to take care of the inside of the house.
I love that.
Think when we're talking about going back to reset, we're good at this, right? We can put makeup on, make everything right. And when outside don't look good, we got girdles, we got surgery, we got all kinds of stuff. But there is nothing that will take care of the inside of you. Even if you go on meds for depression, you have still not taken care of the inside of you, because the cause factor to the depression you have never dealt with.
Yep.
So all you're doing is masking.
Well, I tell you, Lizzie, you all over people's stuff. I mean, the way I'm sitting up here in this spank right now.
We got this part down packed, man.
We got it down. We got it down.
Tosca, so since you said something, Tosca, I want you to tell me, what's your survival kit? You've had your tool.
Hey, I've survived only because the grace of God. So my survivor kit, I'm always going to go to my faith. I'm always going to go to him. I'm always going to go to prayer. I am always going to seek God for my survivor. There's a scripture that I learned about from the Soul Reset book tour, and had read the scripture many times in Matthew 11:30, but had never read it from the message version of the Bible. And it says, "Keep company with me, and you will learn to live freely and lightly." And in that scripture, he says, keep company with me. I mean, just communicate with me, commune with me. And I'm going to teach you how to live freely and lightly. And I think that if we, my survival is to keep company with him, with my Savior.
Okay.
Because then the burden is not, I'm not carrying it. The yoke is not mine.
And it
So,
frees you,
so,
and it
so
frees you.
my survival toolkit, in my survival toolkit is the word,
Word. The word. I
is the
love
word.
that. I love that. Deb, now I know you were freed the other day by just
Absolutely.
just letting go and letting that good cry. And sometimes it is a good cry, or it's a hard laugh, or it's something. But in your case, it was that good cry that got all that stuff out. So for you, what do you feel now is going to be that? What's that toolkit? Your go-to tool to now
So
get you
there's,
through this,
I'm
especially
gonna
as someone who's in the house by yourself. Because I
say,
think that's important right now. There's a lot of people who are in the house alone, and they are, we don't when you're in the house with a bunch of people, you really don't understand how it is to, like you said, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner alone, to get up alone, go to bed alone, over and over. I commend you. You never have to be alone, though. You can always say, hey, let's have dinner on Zoom. We're all here for you.
I'm getting better with that. So very quickly, I'm going to take you down two paths. The first one is, I know that in order for me to be emotionally and mentally stable, there's some things that I have to do, and I have figured that out. And it's as rudimentary as it sounds, it's bearing on the five senses. Smell, because all these five senses make me feel like there's other people around, or the house is alive. So smell is through cooking, fragrant flowers. See, the first thing I did when I went into quarantine, if you will, is to totally redo of my place. My pad is so bomb now. I gotta tell you, I even redid my office. I love every space within my dwellings. And I went from a 5,000 square foot house in Dallas to now I might be at, I don't know, 1,200 square feet or whatever, but I've never loved a place as much as I love now. So I created little spaces where I could retreat, where I could write, where I could inspire myself and meditate. So that's definitely a survival thing in terms of, sight and hearing. This may sound crazy. Obviously, I have my playlist and my music that pumps me up. And some of my go-to are Ain't No Stopping Us Now, just different things that just, pump me up every single morning. But I turn on the washing machine because the washing machine reminds me of my beloved mother. And so when I hear that washing machine going, I feel like her spirit is here with me. So I put on a load of clothes straight up. And so those are the things that I bear witness to the five senses. I've even really gotten into plants, and I even watch the plants to see, how many blooms I'm getting or whatever. It's the things that you pass by through that when you're quiet and still, you've taken them for granted. So my point is, the biggest thing is to slow down.
Yeah.
Is to really slow down. So for me, Tosca and Lizzie said it so amply, I'm not at a new normal now. I'm back to Debbie. I'm really back to my core. And so now I can do it. I mean, I'm like over the moon now because I've made time to work on the projects that I really love and that are important to me. And guess what? Slowly, I'm starting to have dialogue with potential clients now because I'm in a much better place and I'm healed up enough to receive those. So he's all knowing.
So I hear now, slow down.
Yep.
Get the word, get quiet with the word.
Every morning.
Get quiet with the word, and the house is you.
Yep.
Knowing that it's you, I love that. I think that if you write those things down right now, and we're about to get something from Gloria, but if you write those things down, women, we can look at those daily and see what we need to, which tool we need to use at which time.
And
Build a
I
little box.
haven't spent a
And
dime.
Box.
I redecorated. I have not spent a dime. I mean, I haven't bought anything, not because I couldn't get on the credit card, but my whole new normal, man, I'll never spend the way I used to before. I just don't need it.
Never again.
There's more. I have purged so much stuff. It's amazing. So it's been good.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gloria. There's a package coming to you tomorrow. What's in your mail?
Thank you.